thy sight, for you are truly our rock and our Redeemer. Amen.
Amen.
Let us turn to the back of your bulletin. The Luke passage is printed on the back. I'm going to read it in its entirety. Luke chapter 4. I will read verses 1 through 13. Luke chapter 4, verses 1 through 13. Jesus, full of the Holy Spirit, returned from the Jordan and was led by the Spirit in the wilderness, where for 40 days he was tempted by the devil. He ate nothing at all during those days, and when they were over, he was famished. The devil said to him, "If you are the Son of God, command these stones to become a loaf of bread." Jesus answered him, "It is written, one does not live by bread alone." Then the devil led him up and showed him in an instant all the kingdoms of the world. And the devil said to him, "To you I will give their glory and all this authority, for it has been given over to me, and I give it to anyone I please. If you then will worship me, it will all be yours." Jesus answered him, "It is written, worship the Lord your God and serve only him." Then the devil took him to Jerusalem and placed him on the pinnacle of the temple, saying to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down from here. For it is written, he will command his angels concerning you to protect you. And on their hands they will bear you up, so that you will not dash your foot against a stone." Jesus answered him, "It is said, do not put the Lord your God to the test." When the devil had finished every test, he departed from him until an opportune time. Thus ends the reading of the word. Let us consider for a theme the temptation of evil. The temptation of evil. Amen. Welcome to the season of Lent. The 40-day period, not counting Sundays before Easter. Lent is the season of soul searching, the season of self-reflection, the season of self-examination in which each of us are required as followers of the teachings of Jesus to conduct a moral inventory. This past Wednesday, Ash Wednesday to be precise, marked the beginning of our collective spiritual journey that will take us through the Last Supper, betrayal and arrest on Maundy, Thursday, the brutality and absurdity of Good Friday, and will culminate early in the morning while it is still dark with an empty tomb on Easter Sunday morning. Lent is the season in which the church as a whole enters into an extended retreat. Jesus went into the desert 40 days and 40 nights. The 40 days of Lent brings into focus a long biblical tradition beginning with the flood in the book of Genesis when rain fell upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. Elijah walked 40 days and 40 nights to the mountain of God known as Mount Horeb, and the children of Israel wandered through the desert in order to reach the promised land for 40 years. Those of you who are blues aficionados also know Muddy Waters has a song called 40 Days and 40 Nights. The biblical desert or wilderness is primarily a place of purification, a place of passage, if you will. The biblical desert is not so much a geographical location, a place of sand, stones, or sagebrush, as it is a process of internal purification leading to to the complete liberation from the false self with its programs of happiness that cannot possibly work. In other words, you can be in New York City in Times Square and still find yourself in the wilderness. But these programs, the whole program of self-centered concerns have been built up around our instinctual needs and have become energy centers of motivation around which our emotions, thoughts, and behaviors sort of circulate like planets around the sun. The problem is they become shortcuts. These programs that are designed for happiness tend to miss some important aspects about life. Sometimes, as you all know, stuff just happens. Sometimes you can do everything right and still get it wrong. And these programs don't necessarily account for that, whether consciously or unconsciously. These programs for happiness influence our view of the world and our relationship with God, as well as other people. This is the situation that Jesus goes in the desert to heal. It's not about rules and regulations. During Lent, our work is to confront these programs for so-called happiness and detach ourselves from them. There is a tendency, though understandable, that diminishes the power of the Lenten season. You know, for 40 days, we'll give up Snickers, red meat, cigars, alcohol, and the like. And we do this as a profession of our faith. It's laudable. I understand why we do it. But ask yourself, is it transformative? Does it make you a better person? Why not instead, for the next 40 days, give up hate? Give up revenge. Give up greed. Give up jealousy. Give up envy. And don't just give those things up, but replace it with a 40-day commitment to engage in inconvenient love. That seems to be getting at what the lessons of Lent ought to be about. The example of Jesus that the season of Lent provides remind and encourage us in the struggle for an inward peace. That's the journey we're on. We go through Lent so that we can have a little more peace in our lives. How does one have peace while constantly confronted with cosmic evil? That's the question that we struggle with. Now, whether or not you believe that there is a being who lives beneath the earth with horns and a pitchfork who randomly throws certain people into a lake of fire for all eternity is not as important as understanding that evil exists in the world. As children, we are brought up to see evil in one-dimensional terms. I certainly, when I was a child, I loved comic books. And I knew Lex Luthor was evil. I knew the Joker was evil. I knew the Green Goblin was evil. And then later on with the Star Wars series, I knew that Darth Vader was evil. At least until I put all the Star Wars movies in context and I realized that the 6 episodes were about the rise, fall, and ultimate redemption of Anakin Skywalker. Perhaps the more important question as adults, are we any different than our childlike definitions of evil? I maintain there's very little development in our understanding of evil from adolescence. It may be more sophisticated, but how much has it progressed? It's easier to locate evil in Nazi death camps than it is in Japanese internment. It is easier to locate evil atop the World Trade Center than to see it in a prison known as Abu Ghraib. It is easier to locate evil in an urban drive-by shooting than to see it pronounced as Wall Street greed. And though the subjective nature of evil is real and is justified, it's based on events, we can easily see and we can easily put a face on evil. And we can do that, and we don't even mention Stalin or Pol Pot in Cambodia or Mobutu in Zaire or South African apartheid. And let's not forget Jeffrey Skilling and Ken Lay of Enron fame. The point being, evil takes on many forms. And the only problem with such horrific examples of evil is that they don't call us to be self-reflective. When we give evil a face, we let ourselves off the hook. Seldom do we ponder the subtle and seductive ways in which evil invades the lymph nodes of our individual moral compass. On matters of evil, I tend to embrace the work of Martin Buber, who argues that evil is not, as it is commonly understood, the opposite of good. According to Buber, it is usual to think of good and evil as two poles, two opposite directions, the antithesis of one another. But we must begin by doing away with that convention. Buber argued that whereas good comes from a dedication to walking the moral path, one falls into evil through the absence of attention. It's just that simple. One must work to do good, but what happens to be evil? We must therefore embrace the Augustinian notion that we should never fight evil as if it was something that was created outside of ourselves. Without the more demonstrative example, evil can show up in the most benign ways. Here in America, it's so easy to take so much for granted that it's possible to engage in evil daily without ever trying. How many of us would consider such mundane activities as sitting in line to drive through a restaurant with the motor running, or buying a brand new pair of athletic shoes, or buying a basket of strawberries as being potentially evil? And this is what Buber's getting at. Just going about our normal day, it is possible for us to do evil because evil can simply be reduced to going against what ought to be. It does not require an evil intent in order to have an evil outcome. This is what makes us all vulnerable to evil, because it can appeal to some need that we may have that may cause us, as Buber says, to lose attention. That's all it takes. If we embrace Buber's work, we just expanded the possibilities when putting a face on evil by at least one. Buber's understanding gets us closer to the soul-searching, self-reflecting, self-examination that makes up the season of Lent. If you are going to put a face on evil, your face must be in that picture. Because evil is so benign, so seductive, even when we're trying to do good. That's what Paul says. Evil is still present. All it causes is for us to lose attention. As we begin the Lenten journey, we find in this morning's text Jesus in a position that many of us can relate. He's tired. He's thirsty. He's hungry. He has been at it for 40 straight days without a break. What's more, he was sent into this absurd condition by the Spirit. Sometimes it is the Holy Spirit that will lead us into places that cause us to be vulnerable. In spite of what that brand of preaching is geared toward the masses that tells you that everything's going to be all right, ours is a faith that requires us at times to be vulnerable. It requires that we take some risk. Your faith journey is not risk-free. Anyone tells you it's risk-free, that's faith light. To be a follower of the teachings of Jesus is risky business. It's risky to have the audacity to even attempt to love your neighbor as yourself. It's risky to stop on the Jericho road just because somebody who you don't even know might need